What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. It is Friday morning and it is a very exciting weekend. You can probably hear that I'm doing some laundry. I've been working on a paper that I have due Sunday. That is almost done, but most importantly, today is day one of our moving weekend. So if you've been following me for a while, I kind of barely mentioned it, but we bought a house back in November and we've been working endlessly on trying to update it a little bit. Our lease ends in March, so it is time to move. We've got to get out of here, and the house is just being finished up. Actually, Sean is there today doing last minute finishes of it because tomorrow we have our moving van. We're doing the move entirely ourselves, which I'm not very stoked about. I have moved so much in my life. I am not really looking forward to moving again. I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but I went to a boarding school for 4 years of high school. I went to an out-of-state college where I lived on campus. So I basically moved, every year from high school through college, and then I had my first apartment in Pittsburgh. Then Sean and I moved 2 years ago to this apartment, and now we are moving into our house. So I didn't choose to do this move all on our own. If it was up to me, we would get movers, but Sean is determined to make this move happen without that, which honestly is probably the better decision financially. I had no idea movers cost so much. So Sean and my soon-to-be brother-in-law are gonna come clear out all the heavy stuff, move it into a U-Haul tomorrow, and I actually have my mom coming down today to help me do some packing, and we're gonna clean up the house and move, boxes as we can just with our cars. So we're not moving too far away, so that makes it easier, but definitely a stressful thing. And I don't know if moving on top of being in nursing school was the best idea, but we're doing it. So I'm very excited about it, but I definitely want to keep it real that it is a little bit stressful. I'm winding down on this semester, meaning I have, a bunch of finals and tests in the upcoming weeks. I actually think I have, in the next 2 weeks, I think I have 4 exams. So I've never had that many close together before, so we'll see how it goes. I'm really glad my mom is coming because, she's a champ at packing and moving, just like moms do. And she's gonna really help take some of the stress off of me while I try to balance helping with the move and studying for exams and finishing assignments and all that good stuff. Yeah, this vlog is gonna be, I don't know what I'm gonna be able to get, but I'll try to vlog as much of the move as I can. Also, later in this video, I'm going to go over exactly what my program schedule looks like, so you can see kind of what an example of an accelerated program looks like. So stay tuned for that. It is a snowy day in Pittsburgh. I love that we decided to move in the winter time, but you can't always control when and how things happen. Sometimes they just do. I have to admit, I am very excited to be in a house after this last year being quarantined and very isolated and not going out to do many things or go to restaurants or anything like that. Being in this apartment, even though it's like a good size, and someone in New York would like murder me for saying this, but it feels like just such a small space. It'll be exciting to move into our house. It's been a long time coming. I can't believe we bought it in November and then we've been working on it ever since. So I'm excited to show you guys, and I'm so excited to move, and I don't know, I hope we can have a fun weekend together. Oh, and just really quick before I go, I do want to talk about this on my lip a little bit, just because I think it can be distracting while I'm talking if I don't address it. It's nothing major. It literally is just my lips get so dry in the winter, and I've been having some issues with like a cracked lip on the corner and this right here. I've also been pretty anxious and like high-strung with nursing school, so I have to admit I've probably been picking at it more than I should, but I just wanted to say, like, it is nothing. I know it can be distracting and might like be a little gross, I don't know, but it is what it is. It's just like a little cut on my lip, but I definitely noticed it like in the viewfinder, and I just felt like I had to say something about it.
I just wanna see you on my new grave. I just wanna see you on my new grave before you turn around.
Several days later.
All right, so it's now, what day is it? Wednesday. So we moved this weekend, basically Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday I had a 12 for med-surg. So it, like, needless to say, it's been freaking insane. I thought I was gonna do a better job kind of vlogging the move, but it is way harder than I thought. We were just so busy and there was so much to do in a short amount of time, and I knew that kind of starting Monday I'd have my 12, and then, you know, nursing school goes on. So I'm really grateful for my mom for coming down and helping me get everything organized. Like, we still have unpacking to do, but like our kitchen's done. Like, we have our towels and like there's stuff for our bathroom. So it made it like a lot easier to kind of go into this week being pretty organized like that. The few clips I did get, you just saw. I'm so happy to be in the new house. I really love it. I was sad to leave my apartment for sure. It's weird to have a chapter ending, and I really feel like a full-blown adult. There's still a lot to do, but I wanted to check back in. This is going to be the world's most random video. I figure it will just be what it is. Well, I don't know, we'll find out in editing. One thing I did want to talk about, and I mentioned it earlier, is just going over my schedule for my accelerated nursing program. So if you are new here, welcome. My name is Margaret and I am 25 years old and I am back in nursing school doing an accelerated nursing program. So I'm pulling up my calendar here. And what an accelerated BSN program is for anybody who already has a bachelor's degree. It's basically a short program to go back and basically get a bachelor's in nursing. So it's not an advanced degree, it's a bachelor's. I already have a bachelor's, but it's a way to get your BSN without doing 4 years of undergrad again. So if you're curious about like what that kind of looks like, I can share what my curriculum is, and I'm assuming a lot of them are similar. My program personally is 15 months, so I began in August of 2020 and I will graduate in December of 2021. So I have less than a year left, which is crazy. 15 months is not a lot of time. So as you can imagine, there's a lot of stuff you need to get into those 15 months. I talk about this a lot in my like everything you need to know about an accelerated BSN program, so I won't go into like all the details. That video really has like everything you would want to know, but basically once you are ready to start the program, you should have like a certain number of prerequisites that are required before you begin, which is partially why it's able to only be 15 months, because you're getting the things like chemistry and anatomy and physiology and some psych classes like out of the way so you can focus on the nursing part. I'm gonna try to explain this in the most simple way I can because I don't want it to get confusing, and it can get confusing because it's not like a traditional program. When I entered the program, I was at the point where I was like a traditional sophomore, and each cap is 8 weeks. And think of caps as semesters. So my first 8 weeks, I was a first semester sophomore year. My second 8 week, I was second semester sophomore year. And then I moved on to being a junior. So I kind of find that a helpful way to look at it, just in terms of like thinking about how the classes are accelerating. Also, I don't really feel like you need to make an equivalent to a traditional program. Anyway, all right, I'm gonna have to reference this a little bit, but so we start out and this is why it's hard to. I'll put some stuff on the screen to try to help like visualize it, because even I'm confused sometimes, like still. Sometimes classes only run for those 8 weeks and then you have your finals and then you move on. And sometimes there's classes that end at 8 weeks and there's some that run for the full 16. So I'll give some examples of that. And then an added layer of these programs is they don't always start in the fall. They sometimes are rolling. I know we have a fall start and a spring start, And I looked at a school that had like a fall, a winter, and a spring start. So you could have multiple programs like running at once. So you're not always gonna follow that like linear, like regular college path. I hope this is making sense so far. Okay, so my first semester, the first 8 weeks, I had wellness across the lifespan, and I'll give like a brief description of what these classes are. They're gonna be different for you, but I don't know, I found it kind of interesting to see like what types of stuff I'd be learning. So wellness across the lifespan is basically just an overview of wellness and with a nursing perspective and like how you're gonna treat patients, how, like being culturally competent, basically like just how that, it's like the foundation of how to be a good person, like be a good nurse and how to treat everybody with dignity and respect, and at the same time just like look at different stages of life. So then we have health assessment. This was like the main class of the semester. It was like an overview of systems. Okay, it was like an overview of systems. It was like the head to toe assessment, basic nursing skills. Yeah, and our main, and that went with our main lab, which would turn into clinical, but for the first 8 weeks we were just in the lab and we learned, you know, just the very basics. The head to toe was our big like sign off. And then I had Pharm 1, which was all about dosage calculations. And that was all self-taught for our program, which honestly I didn't love. We had Pharm 1, dosage calculations. Then we had Pharm 2, which was all just like learning drugs. That is pure memorization. When you get to Pharm, just build a Quizlet, make some flashcards. It's all memorization. That's all you can really do for those. And then we had a professional issues class, which ran the full 16 weeks. And honestly, that class had no actual class and was just online stuff. And it was like about learning all the nurses that have had like a big impact on the nursing career, which is good, but it was definitely a basic level class. Like you'll see as it goes on how things build. Like this is definitely a sophomore level class. If you've already had a degree, an undergraduate degree, something like that is really not going to stress you. Then we have the next 8/16 week chunk, which is, we're now into our like junior semester 1 and 2. So this is where I'm at right now. And this is where I felt like it took it to the next level. Like the last 8/16 weeks, I was chilling. I thought it was like pretty manageable, not very stressed. Then we got into this second section, grouping, cap, whatever. It definitely took it up a notch. We're juniors now. We're getting into the good stuff. We've got like the meat of the content. So over the first 8 weeks, we have MedSurg. It's nursing care for adults, but it's basically the equivalent of like a med-surg. It goes with our med-surg clinical. So that's for the first 8 weeks. The second 8 weeks, we have nursing care for adults 2, which is gonna be just a continuation of med-surg clinical. And then over the full 16 weeks, spanning over both those sections, we have nursing care for children and nursing care for women, so peds and OB. I'm about to, next week, I have my finals for nursing care for adults, and I wrapped up my last med-surg clinical for this cap on Monday. I'll take my finals, I have a little week break, and then we start again with, I'm continuing just right where I left off with OB, continuing where I left off with peds, but starting nursing care for adults too. That's gonna end in May. Then we have our summer semester, or it's summer for me, and that's where we have psychiatric nursing. So I'll do a psych rotation, which I'm pretty excited about, and complex problems, which I think is basically critical care. I have a research course and an NCLEX seminar. So I feel like this summer is when we're really gonna buckle down on the NCLEX. We've already been prepping for it lightly and here and there, but I think starting in the summer to prepare for the NCLEX after I graduate in December, that'll just get more intense. And then finally, thank you for sticking around for this if you have. The final semester, we have I think these are all for the full 16 weeks. because there's a lot of them. We have leadership, complex problems too, so an extension of critical care, an evidence-based capstone. I think that's just, we will be given a issue and have to write probably a thesis on evidence-based practice. Epidemiology. They have something here that's LEPI. I don't actually know what that is, but I'll let you know when I find out. Community nursing, and then a second NCLEX seminar. So that is the full schedule for my accelerated program. Other accelerated programs might be different, but I think this will give you a good idea of like what your schedule is going to look like. Just a few things before I wrap up, because I really do need to go and study. But before I started school, I heard from a lot of people, including people who run my program. People just say a lot how difficult nursing school is, and I think they make it very scary and kind of unapproachable. Like, it really intimidated me. I like prepared my whole family for these 15 months. I was like, I'm not gonna be able to do anything. I am not gonna have any free time. Like, do not count on me. Like, Sean and I talked about how he's gonna kind of take on the responsibilities of the house. And I don't want to discredit nursing school and nursing students, because I also want to be real with you that it is difficult, and having support people is key. You have to have someone you can lean on, and there are gonna be times when you're just crazy busy. Like, this weekend was very, I mean, I don't necessarily recommend moving during nursing school, but life goes on, you know? So there's gonna be times that are really stressful. This weekend was very stressful for me, but then, you know, it gets not stressful. It ebbs and flows for sure. So don't get yourself all worked up and psych yourself out of it. I see a lot of conversations that are not very productive. So it's a lot of like, I heard that this test is impossible and no one ever passes it. You know, that just isn't gonna get you in the right mindset. If you sit down for a test and you're like, this is impossible and I cannot do it and I'm gonna fail it, then you will. Because you're gonna look at every question and be like, this is way harder than I think it is, and second guess yourself and stuff. So basically, I'm gonna stop rambling on, but what I wanna say is, like, nursing school is 100% doable. Yes, it gets stressful, just like anything else in your life that is difficult and that, you know, you're working for. You're working for this degree. At the same time, it's only as stressful as you let it be, and you have to take those moments for yourself. And you will have those moments for yourself. You will have a life, you will have breaks, you will see your families. They say that you can't work during this time. That adds another layer, but plenty of people in my program have part-time jobs or have kids. People are living their lives and still crushing it in nursing school. So I will always be real with you, and I'm never gonna sugarcoat like things, but I'm also not here to scare you and make you feel like this is something that you can't do, because I know you can do it. I absolutely know you can do it. If nursing is something you're passionate about, no problem. Like, you've got this. And to anyone thinking about doing a nursing program, if that's what you're passionate about, I highly recommend it.